All right, moving on. Let's dive into this weekend's game real quick, and then we'll kind of get to bigger picture stuff. Really, my question begins here, and I think it's more so targeted towards your generation, Steve, your demographic, people that have grown up Penn State fans that have lived in the area for 30, 40 plus years now. What does the West Virginia game series mean to you, or is it just another opponent on the schedule?
It's familiarity. It's rooting against the laundry, right? Like, I mean, that's why NIL is always such a stretch, because it becomes an I thing. For me, at least, I think people my age were rooting for a school against a school. WVU was somebody we saw every year, somebody we beat every year, except for what one? It's 49-1, I think, or 48-1 in terms of the series. They were close. They were nearby. You knew somebody who went to school there. So, and I would rather them than UMass or Delaware, or rather them than pick some other school. So, many other schools. So I think it's good. And I think it'll play out the way it played out during most of my career watching them as a fan. Like, Penn State's going to win. It's going to be fun, going to be a little emotional, but I mean, it's not going to be as emotional because the ties aren't there. These kids probably don't know each other like other kids knew 25 or 35 years ago. But I'm happy to see them back in the stadium again. I'll be happy to, well, I won't. I'll be happy to know their name is on the scoreboard.
Yeah, I was thinking about this because I think a lot of the Pitt Penn State talk has always been wrapped up on kind of that question of this era. My era grew up with that game, not my era. I guess your era grew up with that game. It meant something to the state of Pennsylvania. Here is essentially the number 2 closest, relatively speaking, football program that has history that actually has done some stuff over the course of theirs. It means absolutely nothing to me other than the fact of I get to see a new opponent in the stadium of my generation.
Yep.
I think as much as I don't think Penn State and Pitt should play each other every year, Penn State playing Pitt meant something to me because that was part of that rivalry is a part of the culture in especially where I grew up in Pennsylvania. Maybe not on the eastern side of Pennsylvania for sure, but yeah, I really feel like it is above certainly like a Delaware, but it is relatively just another non-conference game for me as a fan.
They're just in the right they're in the right conference to be able to not be a Delaware or a UMass, right? Like they're a Power 5 opponent, even though they're not strong. And yeah, it's just, I think it'll be lazy on the media's part to trot out history stuff. I mean, I don't think the game means anything for recruiting. I don't think the game, I mean, it just doesn't mean anything for all those standpoints, but it'll be fun seeing West Virginia on the field. The national broadcast will do something with it, right? Because Todd Blackledge is part of the broadcast and played against them. And Kurt Warner, if he shows up for some reason to visit the stadium this weekend, is from West Virginia, right? So they could have some fun with that during the broadcast. But yeah, it's just another opponent, but it's a Power 5 opponent, right? So, right. That matters in terms of non-conference, because I think we're going to see, I hope that we're going to see more. If the playoff goes to 12, we should see more important non-conference games because they're not going to hurt you as much, and it should sway some voting in your spot. But games like this are rare every year, so it's just nice to have them.
Yeah, I think there's the more of the anticipation for this weekend is on the fact that it is the first football game of the season and it's at night rather than when Penn State played Auburn a few years ago, when that was the anticipation for that game was 100% on football. Like that was on seeing Auburn and Penn State play, 2 teams that you really don't get to see play very often. A true SEC team come to State College. And this
is all about Penn State. People they're going to have all day to get ready. They're going to want to see the quarterback do well, even if it's, 10 of 13, or 10 of 16 in the running game. They just want to see the team come out and play well and look like it's supposed to win because it's favored by 3 touchdowns, win by 3 touchdowns, and people will be happy after partying all day to put that exclamation point on the weekend.
Steve sounds like it's going to be. Sounds like it's going to be a little ugly.
You don't think so? I think so, right? Like I guess I'd be surprised if it wasn't.
I think Penn State will cover. It's 20 and a half. Right. I looked at it this morning. I think there will be points. It's first game jitters. Somebody will screw up along the way. I think that's what I get out of it. Yeah, I guess. Yeah. Go ahead.
No, I think they're going to do it. I think Penn State will do what they're supposed to do. I just think West Virginia is struggling, doesn't have the talent to compete. I don't even think they have a puncher's chance. I just think I don't think it's going to be a blowout, but I don't think it's going to be, unless Penn State makes some big mistakes, I don't think Penn State's losing the game.
Yeah, no, I think that's fair. Yeah, I think that's probably about where I'm at with it.